Welcome back to the original Bama Football Tailgate Show as we hang out with you from the Flora-Bama here on the line, right on the line between Alabama and Florida. Perdido Key with Chad Anderson and Baron Huber on Mick Gillispie. Let me remind you guys, the show is brought to you by Yuengling Lager. We've had the cold Yuenglings flowing so far. Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. In Chad's honor, I had the salty nuts shot. And look, we got friends here. We're hanging out. We're talking Alabama and Auburn. That's a 2:30 kickoff at Jordan-Hare Stadium. So now it's time to get into this matchup a little bit. Chad, I see you with a big grin on your face.
I just like
something out there. Just throw something out there.
I just like how you've got everybody floating around behind you there.
Oh, look, this has been fun, man. I mean, we've got the Clarks here, Randall and Holt Clark. We got Barron's whole family's here. Hadley.
I got my daughter here with me. Hadley, can you say Roll Tide?
Roll Tide.
Hadley, what school do you go to?
I go to Randolph.
Randolph, and that's in North Alabama.
It's in Huntsville.
Huntsville. So there's a lot of people from Huntsville that listen on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and that's one of our affiliates. So make sure that you give Hadley a big Roll Tide, and welcome all of you guys back to the show as well as we hang out. I don't know where you went, Chad. You just disappeared on me. All right, guys. Let's talk about Alabama and Auburn. Okay, we're told that because Auburn lost to New Mexico State, they're going to be locked in. And that Nick Saban's going to have trouble because Alabama hasn't beaten Auburn 4 straight times since Bear Bryant was head coach. And on top of it, Barron and Chad, Hugh Freeze is one of the only coaches to beat Nick Saban twice in a row when he was at Ole Miss.
Yeah, there's a lot there to digest, and I suppose you would add the fact that we're playing in Auburn to it. But, here's the thing. I would say since 2020, when we won the national championship, this team has somewhat of a killer instinct to it. I really do feel that way. And all the other side stuff aside, I think we're going to get it done today.
Adam gives us a super chat. He says, Mick, what worries you most about the Auburn game? Do you think their defense can give us problems? I'm going to throw it out there for you guys. Barron, you first, and then Chad.
What worries me most, honestly, is about us. You come out and you kind of putz around a little bit, let the crowd get into it. You let the whole, mystique, and I'm putting that in air quotes for folks that can't see me in radio. You got to come out and dominate. And I will tell you this much. This is a thing that I love about this team that we hadn't had in several years. When you play on the road, you have to control the pace of the game.
That's true.
You have to control. And you know how you control it? By running the football.
Yes.
And we have a plethora of running backs that can get downhill, get us 4 or 5 yards at a time, and slow the game down.
Yeah.
You have to slow it down. Now, there is going to be a period in this game today where Auburn is going to, do a lot of really good things. And we have to take that punch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how you respond to that punch. And I think we have the team to do it. I think we have the running game to do it, more importantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we get it done.
That's right. What about you, Chad?
Well, Barron nailed it on part of it. I mean, we've talked about it some this week, and that you just have to survive, since we're on radio, the bleep storm, and just all the things that can go wrong. And go back and look at like previous Iron Bowls that took place there. 2021, I mentioned this, Jamison Williams, of all people, gets kicked out of the game in the first half for targeting on special team. It's just like stupid stuff,
Right.
He was just making a play, made a bad play because he lowered his helmet and the whole thing, and he's gone. And Bryce Young didn't have a lot of weapons that year. I mean, he was down to Mechie at that point. He definitely didn't have the stable like Tua and Mac had during their time. Go back to when Mac was quarterback. Bama had a lead. And remember, Auburn had 1 second on the clock. And that was a very
the field goal.
Second on the clock to kick a field goal.
I remember that. I forgot about that.
it kind of gave them a little bit of momentum. Mac Jones, Bama's about to score to go up 8 points. Pressured, throws a out pass to Najee. It hits him in the back, ricochets to a defender. They carry.
Yeah, I'm not trying to interrupt you. I don't like that.
But
He's just bringing them all up.
It's all the
lot of bad news.
BS, you know. Like that's all I mean. It's just the
No,
weird
no,
stuff does happen, but at the same time, they're self-inflicted. Like it's not that Auburn does something; it's that Bama does something. That's the problem. Is
it's
Jamison Williams? He did that to himself. Mac Jones, he made a bad pass in a bad situation. He just basically tossed it up and hoped Najee would turn around. In 2013 with the kick six, Alabama had the ball inside Auburn's 25 twice with less than 8 minutes to go in the game, and they couldn't convert on fourth down, and they couldn't make a field goal. Like, it's all like the whole voodoo thing. I get it. But it's all Alabama inflicted voodoo.
Right.
Like Auburn doesn't do anything. It's that Bama screws Bama. And that's what's happened in some of these games. Like Bama's been the problem really on some of these. They haven't finished the job.
Well, one of two things. One, you take really good notes, which I applaud you for, or two, you've been extremely sober during these games. Either or, I'm extremely impressed. But
not us.
But I will say this that I think is a little bit different in the Iron Bowls that I've been a part of. With Bryce Young, the last time we played, I kind of feel like we may have crushed a lot of that mystique that was there.
I agree.
You know, we went in there on a 90-plus yard drive and smoked it.
Yeah, right.
You know,
and maybe that's the end of it.
I think that's a big thing. You know, Mick, you call baseball games.
Yeah,
and there's certain things in sports you have to get over before you get there. And that's something that's not been talked about, quite frankly, this whole week.
Yeah.
Is we really got over that hump. We were the better team that year. We beat them in every single – and to your Jameis Winston or not Jameis Winston
Jamison Williams?
Jamison Williams. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
J-Mo, yeah.
Yeah, J-Mo. Yeah, he gets ejected. And it starts getting this whole feeling like, oh, my God, here we go again. Here's the whole, you know, everything's against us. And we came back and won that and really stuck a splinter in their eye. And I think we should build off of that. You know, you got guys on this roster that have won there. You got guys on this roster that have lost there. Mm-hmm. And there's just something different this year. You know, guys, I'm not a stats guy, you know me.
Yeah,
Mick.
no, but
I've never been there. I just kind of go off of feel and you know, emotion is what it is. But I don't think that this is the kind of team that's going to go in there and worry about anything that happened before today.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I do. The thing that worries me,
they're writing their own chapter. Right.
The thing that worries me is the penalties. You know, let's not get the pre-snap penalties. Let's snap the ball.
We've gotten better at that.
That's McLaughlin. Snap the ball. You know, Milrow, make louder. You know, like work together on that, because if you don't shoot yourself in the foot, think about this. Chad said this, and I'm going to agree with him on this. After the Texas A&M game, Chad's like, Alabama just kicked their ass, and it was only like a 6-point win or whatever it was, right? 4-point win. But you knew Alabama was by far the better team. They never really put them away, but it was close, right? And then since that point, Alabama's kind of got the ball rolling. That's what I want to see today. I want to see Alabama not make the mistakes and beat them like they beat Chattanooga last week.
Well, I mean, trust me, I'd like to see 66 points on the board. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Gonna play us a little harder than I think Chattanooga did. But you also have a team here that I think is trying to make their own name. Yeah. And I think they like that. I think they like that challenge. I think they realize that they're different than everything that's been here previous. And I think that's important. You know, I hear the whole standard thing, and actually, to be honest with you, that pisses me off. I hate that term. Absolutely, I hate that term, because we've never been a standard program. Right. Under Coach Saban, we've been a process program. Now, maybe
tell me what this means as a former player. What is the process program?
There is no standard. It's the process. The process takes care of all of it.
Right.
The standard is a joke, in my opinion, and I cringe when I hear it. The
So you
Bama
don't like
standard.
when people say the Bama standard.
I
You say it's
don't
the
like it at all.
process because it's the process
It
of
is
learning how to do it the right way.
The standard was created by the process. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So focus on what gets you to the, quote, standard, and it is the process. I think in years past, we've had the talent, we've had the play calling, we've had some luck, but we haven't had I'm trying to, in radio terms, we haven't had people that actually just want to go out there and win no matter what.
Right.
And
He talks about all the time. It's not just winning; it's beating your opponent.
You beat them. And I'm going to tell you right now, number 26, Jam Miller, the entire season turned around in the Ole Miss game when Jam Miller smoked the guy on kickoff.
Yeah.
We score a touchdown. He comes back and smokes him again. And our entire season has changed since then. Number 26 is one of my favorite players. I think
I love it when I hear you guys, like when Ryan Anderson's on one of my other shows,
dude.
And he's like, I love Chris Braswell. And you're like, what? You're like, he reminds me of what I did.
Yes.
And Ryan was a very physical, guy that got in some tails.
Oh, absolutely.
So you look at him and you're like, I like that.
Barron, I want to ask you on that. The Ole Miss game earlier in the week, we talked about certain key plays in the year. You bring up Jam Miller in that game. I thought that the pass from Milroe to Niblack for a touchdown was a key swing point in the season because, one, Niblack makes a tremendous play, but two, Milroe, if I remember correctly, got basically knocked on his hindside pretty hard, and it took him a minute to get up, but he almost acted like the Undertaker when he sat up. He sits straight up and has a smile on his face.
Great visual.
Up.
Yeah. Was that Niblack or Hale? Whoever, there was just moments like that.
You know what, the guy, 84. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
It is Niblack, yeah.
But the guy, he's been a bailout for us in really important times. And you're exactly right. That was a show of toughness because he sat up like the Undertaker, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But this team changed in the Ole Miss game.
Yeah.
And I really do. I center this whole season around 26, in my opinion, because he lit a guy up 2 times in a row, all right, on kickoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's effort.
Yeah.
All right. You have to be somewhat crazy and a lot of testicular fortitude to go down there on kickoff. Okay.
Yeah.
And he did it twice in a row. The stadium lit up.
Oh yeah, it happened.
It just happened like that. And you know what? I think this is something that's beautiful about sports. Sometimes it just takes one.
Yeah, just one play.
You never know, and you don't know in any sport across any. It doesn't matter across any vertical or horizontal sport. In basketball, it's a 3. It's a block shot.
Yeah.
And you get this confidence. And if you as Alabama fans, we look back like you think about Reuben Foster when he hit Leonard Fournette on the kickoff.
Yeah.
Down in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
It was just like, we're not losing this game.
How about when Mechie, Florida intercepted the ball and Mechie just took the dude out and got the ball right back.
But that's what we're used to.
Yeah,
Nick.
right.
Physical.
When Terrence Cody
football.
blocked the field goal.
Yeah, well,
different.
Don't get me.
I'm going to get you too far.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Look, Barron. I know this is your last segment. It's been awesome hanging out with you. You got to get back to family. What I want to ask you guys, final question: favorite Iron Bowl memory?
Oh gosh, can I go last?
Okay, you go last.
Yeah.
All right, Chad, you're up first. Favorite Iron Bowl memory?
Favorite Iron Bowl memory.
I'll go. Do I need to go first here?
Yeah, real quick.
Okay, look, 1998, I'm in the student section for the last Iron Bowl at Legion Field. And one of my fraternity brothers got jumped in the student section. I don't know why. I just looked down, and I'm a handsome guy. I'm not a fighter. But in this particular moment,
particular moment,
I had to jump into action. I had to bring in action. And it like, I don't know, I just was out of my comfort zone. And I'm throwing dudes and a big brawl breaks out, right? And then I threw this one guy into the stands and onto this other guy, and he was huge guy got up. I mean, it was like Andre the Giant. And all of a sudden he backed down, and I thought, man, that must be me. And then I realized it was because there was a cop behind me with mace. And I got
and
maced.
that's your eye.
I got
had
maced.
nothing to do with the field.
I got maced and cuffed. Bama won the game. I'm like this. My date at the time told the police officer that I was just trying to break it up, which was true. And it took me 2.5 hours to get the mace out of my eyes to leave the stadium. I was the last guy to leave the last Iron Bowl at Legion Field. We won the football game. And when I showed up to the KA house that next day, I had the most street cred of any guy.
It was worth it.
It was so worth it. So that's mine. That's my greatest Iron Bowl moment. Different than your guys. All right, who's up next? Chad?
I'll run it.
All right.
I'm gonna go 2014. I think that game gets overlooked a lot. It's Blake Sims' first year as quarterback following A.J. McCarron. And part of the reason was it was a night game in Tuscaloosa. Bama's fighting for the 1 seed in the college football playoff, first year ever to have the playoff. Auburn comes in here and makes it a game. Really, they were ahead at halftime. They made it a game for 3 quarters. Bama pulls away. Lane Kiffin, highest scoring Iron Bowl in Iron Bowl history. And Mick, the reason on that one too is Divine Blood One, whoever that is, there in the chat wanted a non-sober one. Yeah, they wanted a non-sober one, and that was a night game, and it was a brown water day, and that was a lot of brown water leading up to a 6:30, 7 o'clock, whatever it was, kickoff. But Bama winning that game big, and Dixieland Delight in the 4th quarter, and I was sitting right above the student section. That place was lit, and so that one, I'll go with that one. That one was great.
All right, Baron, your final thoughts here. Your final thoughts.
I guess 2005. I grew up in East Tennessee, so the Tennessee-Alabama rivalry, in my opinion, was always and still is the best rivalry in the Southeastern Conference, and that was the one that I'm partial to. Being recruited, I had an unofficial visit down there for the Iron Bowl. That was my first Iron Bowl to be a part of. Mm-hmm. And I could just tell as a recruit that the game was different. And I understood at that point that it was more than just a Tennessee-Alabama game.
Right.
That would be my first experience. We lost that day. But then, I think about, 2008 when we won. I think it was 39-0 with Glenn Coffey.
Ended the streak.
Ended the streak. Wonderful moment with my teammates and to be a part of that. I think about 2009, we come back, from 21 points down on a team that was really, Auburn was not very good.
Like this year.
We came out and we found a way to win. And just for the record, anybody that wants to judge us against any other team, we'd still figure out a way to win. I don't give a damn who's quarterback or anybody else. We'd still
nobody
win.
Ever beat you guys.
Yeah, we ain't been beat. We ain't going to get beat. But the 42
Mike Johnson always says, "What rules are we playing?"
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Whatever the rules were, we'd have figured it out.
Hey, Mick, do I have one quick question for Baron?
You got to hurry because we got to go to break.
Baron, why does this team make such better second half adjustments than years past? This team in the second half is unbeatable. Any game they've been behind, they just kick everybody's in the second half. Why is that?
I think we have a coaching staff that's on the same page first and foremost.
Right.
That trust each other. I think the players trust the coaching staff, and I think you have guys on this team that want to win, and they recognize that they have to be coached to win. And I think that says a lot. My favorite moment was 42 carries by Derrick Henry.
I love that one. I still love that.
Down on the plane.
Still love it.
I still have a little bit of blood flow, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
From that one, and hopefully today will be another good one.
Baron, love you, brother. Thank you, man.
Love you too, man.
Roll
Thank
Tide.
you guys
Thanks for starting the show, and thanks for being on it. All right, we'll be back talking more Alabama right after this.